Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to your Thursday math lesson. So we're continuing on with multiplying two-digit numbers. This time we are estimating products. Okay, so what does this guy mean? This word products. When I say products, I'm referring to the answer of a multiplication problem. So for instance, in the multiplication problem, 10 times 2, 20 is the product. Okay, so let's take a look at unlock the problem. Now, remember when you see a word about, that means we are looking for the estimate of a problem. So in this case, we're seeing about how many times is the refrigerator door open in May. Okay, so let's read the problem. About how, okay, sorry. On average, the Smith family opens the door of their refrigerator 32 times each day. There are 31 days in May. About how many times is the refrigerator door opened in May? So we are not looking for an exact answer here. We are looking for an estimate. So when I say the word estimate, that usually means we have to round. So let's take a look here. So we are taking the numbers 31 and 32 and we are rounding them to the nearest 10. So 31 becomes 30. 32 also becomes 30. Then we're going to take those two numbers and multiply them. And look here, we're focusing on the basic fact first, which is 3 times 3, and that is 9. Okay, and look, they highlighted how many zeros there are. There are 2. So that means the Smith family opens the refrigerator door about 900 times during the month of May. Okay, so let's look at another problem like that. So this is going back to our rounding skills. Okay, here's another way. All 24 light bulbs in the Park family's home are CFL light bulbs. Each CFL light bulb uses 28 watts to produce light. About how many, there are those words again, watts will the light bulbs use when turned on all at the same time? So again, when you see those words about how many, we're looking for an estimate, not an exact answer. Okay, this time we're not rounding, we're using compatible numbers. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute mentally, so you can do them in your head. I also like to call these friendly numbers. Friendly. Okay, so now we're going to estimate or use compatible numbers here. So this time, what they did was they made 24 into 25. So all we did was round it up to a digit that has a 5 at the end, because that's easy to add or multiply mentally. And then we rounded 28 to 30. Okay, so now it's a little bit easier to multiply. So first, we're going to think 25 times 3, that is 75. And then we got to put in that 0, so 750. So about 750 watts were used. Okay, so let's look at a few more examples of rounding or compatible numbers. Okay, so on the try this problem here, we're going to round to the nearest 10. We are estimating 26 times $79. Okay, so let's review rounding here. Okay, let's look at that number 26. So remember our rounding rules. we have to look at the place that we're rounding, which is in blue, or rounding to the nearest 10, right? And then I'm gonna look next door, which is a 6. Okay, now remember, 5 or greater, you're gonna add one more. 5 or less, 5, or less than 5, it's gonna rest. So that number here is a 6 that's greater than 5, so I'm gonna add a 1 to the tens place. So that 2 is gonna become a 3, and then I replace that 6 with the 0. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with 79. Okay. Another way to think about this is the number you're looking at closer to the lesser 10 or the greater 10? So meaning, is 79 closer to 70 or closer to 80? Well, it's going to be closer to 80, right? It's only 1 away from 80, so that's going to round to $80. Okay, so now I'm going to think, okay, 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, and then I see that there's 2 zeros there, so I'm going to add those guys in. Oh, but don't forget your dollar sign. So 26 times $79 is about $2,400. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could use compatible numbers or friendly numbers instead. So over here, they made the 26 into a 25, and then the $79 is still $80. So now you can just think 25 times 8 first. So 25 times 8. I'll write that over here. I like to stack them like that. Okay, so 5 times 8 is 40. So I'm going to drop my 0, add my 4. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 4 more is 20. So that's 200. Okay, I'm going to write it over here so you can see it. 200. Okay, and then I still got to add my other 0. So that's going to actually be 2,000. So this will be about $2,000. Okay. Okay, so this is a lesson in which you're going to have to remember how to round. That's going to be an important skill here. Okay, so in your homework problems today, which will be on It's Learning this time instead of Go Math, I'm going to be asking you to pick out the correct rounded products, as well as how would you round a problem. And you're also going to have a few word problems today. So I'm actually going to skip on ahead to that. Okay. So let's see. Yep. These 2 problem-solving problems you're going to actually see. So remember, the main thing you need to know is that both of these guys are going to be rounding. So about how many. So number 7, a dime has a diameter of about 18 millimeters. About how many millimeters long would a row of 4 dimes be? So I'm not looking for an exact answer here. You're going to have to round these 2 guys before you multiply them. Same on this problem. About how many? So that means you have to round first. You're rounding these 2 guys. Okay, and then you're also going to have this problem. Erase that. Okay, so sometimes you may get a question that a lot like this guy here. What is a reasonable estimate for the product of 43 times 68? So it means I'm not looking for the exact answer for this guy, I want the estimate. So again, that means you have to round both of those numbers first to the nearest 10. Okay, so that is all for your lesson today. Make sure you answer the questions on its learning. Again, we're not doing Go Math today. We're only doing 2 lessons on Go Math this week to see how it goes. So again, if you have issues, just let me know.